It has just gone 8 o'clock Central African time. Good evening and welcome to the news bulletin at 8, brought to you by Eswatini TV. I'm Sani Poingon. I'm with Namakabas Ongambole, coming to you live from the Hospital Hill Studios in Babane. And for your top stories at 8, let's take a look. The Ministry of Finance is being supported by the Rwanda Cooperation Initiative under the Government of Rwanda on public finance reforms, which includes the public finance management, e-governance and e-procurement. The Ministry of Health's Principal Secretary Kanyamabuza says the country has reduced child mortality rate over the past 4 years, and all government ministries will now have focal points for disability mainstreaming being supported in this endeavor by the United Nations. Hello again, and now for the news in detail. We begin here. The Ministry of Finance is being supported by the Rwanda Cooperation Initiative under the Government of Rwanda on public finance reforms, which includes the public finance management, e-governance and e-procurement. Speaking at the information sharing session at Eswatini Revenue Services at Eswatini, the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Zagale Dlamini, says these reforms will play a pivotal role in uplifting the country's economy.
The benefits of the implementation of the electronic procurement system will increase transparency, accountability, and competition in public procurement. Just as an example, we are targeting to reduce the procurement lead time from 100 days to 57 days. We all know that people are complaining government processes take too long, red tape, all that, but we are hoping and we are confident that we will reduce the lead time. And again, we intend to achieve greater transparency as the tender documents and disclosure of contracts will now have to be disclosed publicly.
The head of the Rwanda Cooperation Initiative, Rosine, says they are ready to offer their full support to Eswatini.
Our nations have long recognized the significance of cooperation, and it is through such partnership that we can achieve remarkable progress. In Rwanda, we have personally witnessed the transformative power of such initiatives, such as the Integrated Financial Management Information System and the Electronic Government Procurement, the EGP.
According to Transparency International 2022, Eswatini stands at 33.3% against a global average of 48.4% on corruption. Such programs by government seek to address this anomaly. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Ngamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Ezulwini.
The Minister of Health, Principal Secretary Kanyamabuza, says the country has reduced child mortality rate over the past 4 years. Mabuza was speaking during a forum on strengthening maternal and child health care hosted in partnership with the government of the Republic of China and Taiwan.
The Maternal and Infant Health Care Improvement Forum on strengthening maternal and child health care is aimed at increasing the accessibility of maternal and infant health care services across the nation. The Minister of Health, P.S. Kanyamabuza, officially opened the conference.
The project has worked towards improving two critical outcomes, namely increasing the number of pregnant mothers who attend the 4 antenatal care visits by 5%, decreasing early neonatal mortality rate by 10%, and supported these health facilities in many, many ways. It is a great, great milestone for this country.
Minister of the Embassy of the Republic of China on Taiwan, Ling Cui, said over the past few years, numerous activities were conducted.
Over the past 7 years, the project has conducted numerous activities in cooperation with the Ministry of Health, with a total investment of over $2.5 million in medical equipment. The project has benefited more than 20,000 pregnant women, resulting in a similar number of newborns each year.
The meeting will also discuss the achievements of the second phase of the Maternal and Infant Healthcare Improvement Project. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samkal Suekoza with Zikumbuzo Dlamini Ezulwini.
Right, staying with health matters, the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Kanya Mabuza, says even though Eswatini has achieved the 95-95-95 target, Eswatini still has to do more in eliminating HIV. Mabuza was speaking at Nkamazi Chiefdom in the Mzini region during the launch of the World AIDS Day.
The World AIDS Day was launched under the theme Let Communities Lead. Speaking during the launch, the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Kanya Mabuza, says the world has set its eyes on Eswatini since Eswatini was the first to achieve the 95-95-95 target.
Silapha nje sibekwe ngibo lokuthi kungathi khona sikuzuze lesilive. Siphinde sibongele ukuthi futhi nasikhuluma sibantu bahlangene asikhuluma ngembango kuphela sho sikhuluma ngenhlangothi yabantu ngehlukana kwabo.
He says communities can be churches or any group of people who have the challenge to work hard, and the Maswati must work in unity on HIV issues. The acting director of Nature, Dumsane Gunene, says the country must look at how far it has come on HIV, where it is now, and what is left in the fight against HIV.
Lala sesikhona khona sesifikele kulabo 95-95-95 lapho siya khona nyalo sefuna lokuthi wonke umuntu wafake naye isandla.
He says people must encourage one another and all work together in preventing new infections. The Nkamazi Umphakathi has a library which is utilized by all learners in the area to study, research and do their schoolwork. The Lutse Member of Parliament Nomkhosi Masuku applauds the chiefdom for the library.
Nkosami bantwana nkosami basitakele kakhulu ikakhulu ngana indlu le library.
Nkamazi Chief Kija says Eswatini will finally eliminate HIV. The Minister of Health says Eswatini will achieve the 2030 goal of an AIDS-free generation. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian Msibi, Nkamazi.
All government ministries will now have focal points for disability mainstreaming being supported in this endeavor by the United Nations Partnership Program for Persons with Disabilities. Speaking at Esbane Same Hotel at Zulini during the focal points and planners meeting, the Director of Social Welfare at the Deputy Prime Minister's Office, Mkusi Shongwe, says this will ensure people living with disabilities have easy access to government services.
The director says the training is mainly to ensure that the disability focal points fully understand the people they will be working with and know how to offer services to them. He says they are aware that people living with disabilities do not have enough employment opportunities, hence they are working with different stakeholders to equip them with skills.
Esithombele lesinaso etinzabeni tekuqashwa kwabantu abakhubatekile ukuthi vele emikhakheni leminyenti yemisebenzi basalela ngemva ngesizathu sekuthi bade labanye emakhono ekuthi bangasebenta kuleyo misebenzi leyo ledzinga emakhono lathide.
The project coordinator of the United Nations Partnership Project for Persons with Disabilities, Cindy Dube, says having people focus on issues of people living with disabilities in ministries will ensure effective service delivery and help draw attention to the implementation of their policies.
Lokuhlanganisa labo plana nema focal points in the different ministries even kukhanzakale ukuthi kumqoka as part of affirmative actions onke emave vele aka UN member states baphocelelekile ukuthi kufanele abe khona ama focal points so that kungabi ngathi ngibekise nje DPM's office le went disability.
The president of the Federation of People Living with Disabilities, Eswatini Bongani Makama, expressed faith in the value of mainstreaming disability in all aspects of government. He says the whole government approach will ensure people in this community fully benefit from all the policies.
Kuyi-exercise lenhle naletabalekele abantu abakhubatekile ikakhulu etinzabeni tekubuka yona ibudget.
People living with disabilities make up 13% of Eswatini's population. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vuminkosi Nzenisa, Ezulwini.
The government of the Kingdom of Eswatini says all views on ending gender-based violence are welcome as it has become a major disruption to socio-economic activities. Alpheus Komalo was reacting to a letter written and submitted by different organizations to the Prime Minister's office and the Deputy Prime Minister's offices on the need for government to declare gender-based violence in the country a national emergency.
The organizations, which include Eswatini Action Group Against Abuse, the Coordinating Assembly of Non-Governmental Organizations and Gwaka Invodza, to mention a few, say declaring gender-based violence a national emergency will allow for more funding. The organizations say the funding of gender-based violence does not match the scale of abuse which a Maswati experience. They acknowledge the efforts by government and different stakeholders on ending gender-based violence, but say increasing the budget towards gender-based violence and fully implementing the 2023-2027 National Strategy to End Gender-Based Violence in Eswatini and Costed Action Plan, amongst other things, can play a major role towards a gender-based violence-free Eswatini. Government spokesperson Alpheus Numalo says government is also concerned as gender-based violence is growing at an alarming rate. He says they will consult with the Deputy Prime Minister's office on this matter and will respond accordingly to the contents of the organization's letter. A recent gruesome act of gender-based violence was the shooting and killing of 4 women at Goje Township at Eswatini. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, and Bendulo Kumbi Mbabane.
The Ministry of Housing and Urban Development Undersecretary Hlopsile Dlamini says cities have a huge influence on the socio-economic development of the country. The U.S. was speaking during the commemoration of the World Cities Day held at the Mavuso Trade and Exhibition Center.
The commemoration of the World Cities Day marks the end of Urban October that was launched on the 2nd of that month to remind the world that everyone has the power and responsibility to shape the future of our cities and towns. The Minister of Housing, U.S. Hlopsile Dlamini, launched the celebration.
Our future is undoubtedly urban. Urbanization has been and will remain one of the most powerful megatrends of the 21st century. It should come as no surprise then that well-planned towns and cities will be central to our sustainable development.
UN Resident Coordinator's representative Afshin Pasi touched on the importance of attaining Sustainable Goal number 11.
Sustainable Development Goal 11, to make cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable, which is led by our sister UN agency, UN Habitat, identifies sustainable urbanization as one of the key priorities for global development.
Manzini Municipality Mayor Nozipho Kamedze affirmed their commitment into economic development of Eswatini.
Our vision is to reach 2030, which is our main goal, whereby we'll have all our infrastructures, our cities fully equipped with modernized equipment.
The day was themed Better Cities, Better Lives. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samkal Suekoza with Zikumbuzo Dlamini Manzini.
The Managing Director of the Eswatini Bank, Nozizwe Mlela, urges financial institutions and companies to hire graduates. Mlela was speaking when welcoming 5 graduates from different universities who will be attached to work in the bank, and as this is in partnership with UNDP.
With the aim of reducing unemployment rate, especially amongst the youth, the Eswatini Bank, in partnership with UNDP under the Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program, has onboarded 5 graduate trainees on attachment of a period of 2 years. The Managing Director of Eswatini Bank, Nozizwe Mlela, urges companies to support this program and hire graduates.
asibafake abantwana bethu nabo batongena emsebenzini batawufundzela kusebenza nabente kahle-ke vele sebagaranteed ukuthi umsebenzi bangaba nawo Eswatini Bank.
She says the young people have been placed in business units where they are developing critical skills. She says this program will also create future leaders and is a catalyst for economic development. Ross Sebatindira, the UNDP resident representative in Eswatini, says this is an important milestone towards job creation.
That is a significant milestone in the journey of the youth program, in the sense that it's really demand-driven by the bank. We've demonstrated that by offering these opportunities to the youth, you don't only give them hope, but you also give them.
Nonhlanhla Gama thanked on behalf of the graduates, saying they needed such. Being attached to companies will expose them to work ethics and they will gain skills and knowledge.
Sijabulile kakhulu njengama graduates ukuthi sithole ithuba leli kanjena ikakhulu ngoba abaningi abantu labasha laveni labafisa ukuthola emathuba emsebenzi.
This program will go a long way towards job creation. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kiani Msibi with Patizo Msibi, Mbabane.
With those news, we shift gears now into the world of business, where we take a look at financial indicators that will give us a sense of how markets fared today in a financial report.
Standard Bank. It can be.
Welcome back. Now in the world of sports, in our sports roundup, the Eswatini Q Sports Association has launched a 200,000 Malangeni tournament. Mundu Dlamini, who is the president of the association, says the tournament will help develop the sport at all levels. Dlamini was speaking during the launch of the tournament to the Ministry of Sports offices in Babane.
Eswatini Q Sports Association has officially launched what will be known as the Eswatini Q Sports Festival. The association is anticipating a sponsorship of around 200,000 Malangeni that will cater for the prize money. Speaking during the media launch, the Q Sports president, Muntu Dlamini, says this festival will help the sports grow and also it will help with their bid to host the African Championships.
Njenga-Q Sport, i-mandate yethu developer the sport se-Q Sport Eswatini. Siphinde siyipromote kuwo onke ama-levels. Le initiative le is meant to promote the black ball lesiyidlalako thina eSwatini. I hope you will note ukuthi ipool yethu inema-courts lehlukene. Kunabo netball, kunabo handball leyatonga ukuthi i-Chinese 8-ball. Kwehlukahlukene nje but cishe thina in the region lesiyisebenzisa ngile black ball. So the activity is meant to promote the black ball.
Other speakers included the Director of Sport in the Ministry, Lakis and Sport Council, which both congratulated the association for such an event that has the potential to host the country's flag high. Babane Solos has 5 players called up for the national team duty that will be playing in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. The players include Sizolwethu Shabalala, Kwaketfala, Ayanda Kadlela, Newman Piliso, and Neliso Dlamini. This has excited the head coach, Caleb Ngwenya, who has welcomed the increasing number of Solos players in the national team.
We are quite very happy this time around that we've added a quite number of players to the national team. It means the selectors of the national team saw something, and it's very good for the team.
Madeleine, on the other hand, has been playing well since the start of the season, where they are unbeaten in 6 games, but they have no players selected for the national team. The head coach, William Kamete, says he's not disappointed by this decision.
No, good disappointment. Ngicabanga ukuthi lesi-happy njengako lesicabanga nathi ukuthi kube fair ukuthi sikhona ukuthola i-player of the month last month.
The two teams played to a goalless draw in the MTN Premier League at Kalanga Sports Centre. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports News, I am Patizwe Msibi. Kalanga, Stegi.
Well, with those sports news, let's wrap it up with news making headlines tonight. The Ministry of Finance is being supported by the Rwanda Cooperation Initiative under the Government of Rwanda on public finance reforms, which includes the public finance management, e-governance and e-procurement. The Ministry of Health's Principal Secretary Kanyama Buze says the country has reduced child mortality rate over the past 4 years. And all government ministries will now have focal points for disability mainstreaming being supported in this endeavor by the United Nations. Like that, we reach the conclusion of the news bulletin at 8 at Eswatini TV. But before we go, we shall cross over to the Weather Center for a detailed weather report from us and the rest of the team at Eswatini TV. For now, it's good night and God bless.